1 in 2 children in Guatemala experience malnutrition. This statistic is alarming, as the first 1,000 days of a child's life are critical to their growth and development. In Guatemala, their gross domestic product has increased substantially over the past 20 years. You would expect to see decreases in these negative health outcomes, such as malnutrition, but they have not been seen. Malnutrition over an extended period of time can lead to stunting. The rate of stunting has only decreased 2%, from 49 to 47% the last time it was measured. A team of researchers and I, including a lot in Guatemala and some in the United States, have come together to research something that is related and has been associated with these negative health outcomes. It's called mycotoxins. So what are mycotoxins? Mycotoxins come from the root word, the Greek word, myco, which means either mushroom or fungi, as well as toxin. So mycotoxins are small molecular weight compounds that are resulting from fungal growth. This is an example of fungi in daily life. You may have had an experience with moldy bread. Mycotoxins can be found on multiple different things, such as cereal grains, legumes, as well as other products such as corn. Today, we'll be primarily focusing on corn, as corn is consumed multiple different times per day in Guatemala generally. Mycotoxins are a One Health concern. They're related to humans, animals, and the environment. A One Health problem is something that's related to all of these 3 different things, and they're all synergistic. We'll start by talking about the environment. The environment in which corn is grown, as well as stored, as well as dried, is important. On the top here, you see a traditional method of drying corn. Essentially, individuals hang the corn outside of their homes so that it can be dried. Although effective as the sun dries corn, you may see birds or other insects damage the corn as it's open to the environment. If corn gets damaged, it can lead to fungal production and then subsequent mycotoxin production. On the bottom, you see a traditional way of storing corn, which is called a troja. Essentially, it's just a raised bed where you can store corn. Well, as you can see, this troja has different areas in which animals, such as a mouse, could get through that crack and, in fact, eat a little bit of that corn, and then that could lead to fungal contamination and subsequent mycotoxin growth. The second piece of One Health is animals. So animals, if they consume contaminated products, such as corn, which is common in animal feed, that can lead to the production of their milk that could have mycotoxins in it. If they consume that contaminated product, it'll be excreted in their milk. This was found in Ethiopia a few years back, and it caused a public health concern. The third part of One Health is humans. So how humans handle and process their corn relates to either high or lower levels of mycotoxins. So one process of which that has been shown to decrease the level of mycotoxins in Guatemala is called nixtamalization. It starts out when you take the corn and you place it into a basic solution, or we place it into a basic solution, and then you soak it overnight, or for a period of time. Then you take the corn, you rinse it off, and then you make it into a masa, which can be made into different types of products. This is a video that I took a month ago related to tortilla production. Essentially, the women were taking that masa and they were forming it and making it into tortillas. The Guatemalan government knows that this can be a concern. They know that mycotoxins are related to humans, animals, and the environment. So what did they do about it? They set a limit of 20 parts per billion for the level of aflatoxins, one type of mycotoxin, in corn. This limit did not help to reduce the level of mycotoxin contamination, particularly in the smallholder farmers. It doesn't help that much, as these individuals don't have access to those materials in order to test their corn, or there may not just be people there to regulate the corn that's being sold in these environments. As well as individuals, they may know that a corn that has fungi on it may be not beneficial for their health, but they don't have any other options. They just have to purchase the low quality products because they don't have anything else they can buy. So now what? What do we do about this? We've decided to focus on humans in this experiment. Guatemalans consume multiple corn-based products per day, including tortillas, tayuyos, and caparina, and nachos. On the right-hand side, you can see a picture of me standing next to a tortilleria in a local market that says they sell tortillas 3 times a day. These products are delicious. They're great. If individuals handle and process their corn in a way to reduce mycotoxin contamination, they're safe to eat. But if individuals use different methods to process their corn, or if their corn starts with a high level of mycotoxin contamination, there may be some left over in the product at the end. So what have we done? We conducted a study where we recruited 775 women in different parts of Guatemala. We looked at their different socioeconomic factors through a survey. We asked them about their language, their education level, as well as what they ate in the past week. We also took a urine sample, as if an individual is exposed to something that has been contaminated with mycotoxins, you can see it excreted in their urine. And what did we find out? 31.35% of women, about 1 in 3, consumed a level of mycotoxins that was above a threshold set by the JEFCA World Health Organization of 2 micrograms per kilogram body weight per day. If an individual consumes over this amount over a repeated period of time, that means that individual is at a higher risk of those negative health outcomes that I talked about earlier, such as malnutrition, stunting, or liver cancer. What makes these individuals, what placed an individual like that in this group? Essentially, if an individual had a particular language, so if an individual is Mayan speaking, if an individual had a particular level of economic status, if they had a certain level of education, so if they had a lower educational level, or if they ate a high percentage of maize-based foods, that was associated with that high level of exposure. So those women who had these different characteristics were at a higher risk of being in that high consumption group. Mycotoxin contamination is not just a problem in Guatemala. It's also a problem in other areas around the world, including the US. With climate change and changing weather patterns, the hotspots for mycotoxin contamination may change. By examining the different ways in which mycotoxin contamination can be reduced, we'll not only increase One Health and food security in the US or in Guatemala, we'll also potentially be able to increase food security for other parts around the world. Thank you.